Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for After Seven.
Fantastic.
That worked out pretty well.
Fantastic.
Oh, my God.
Here they are. Let's give them a round of applause, guys. That is After Seven.
Thank you.
Listen, I don't know about you guys, but I could not wait for this moment. I love these guys.
Yeah, feel free to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kevon Edmonds.
I'm Daniel McLean.
Keith is going to need a little volume on his microphone.
So does Never mind.
Okay, I can hear him.
I know, they hear you, but it needs to be a little bit louder. She's working on that. She's got it. She's got you. So, guys, welcome to the Soul Train Cruise. Now, is this your first Soul Train Cruise?
Absolutely, it's our first time.
Give them a nice first welcome. So, all right, I know you guys have been charting. You know, you've got Bittersweet that's just been doing its thing. But let's go way back. Let's talk about the early days of After Seven. So for those who don't know, how did you guys get together?
Wow, I think it started many years ago before we started After Seven. Keith and I met at Indiana University in college, and we ran a program called IU Soul Review, which taught the business of music, composition, and performance. And so I think that's where he and I both began to nurture more of an appreciation for music, but we also developed a strong friendship. And from there, during the summer months, we would get with my brother Melvin, and we would go around. Some of you aren't old enough to know what gong shows are, but we would go hit the city and get to the clubs and go for that $100, and we would bring $100 home because we'd win the gong shows.
Oh, I love it. And people used to think that Keith was actually your cousin, right?
Well, no, that was L.A. was my cousin.
Uh-huh.
Of course, Kevon and Melvin are Babyface's brothers. So, you know, the story sounded good. You know, it read good in the media as far as the record company was concerned, you know, and it was a great way to launch us. But honestly, it's like we're brothers.
Yeah.
And
Good marketing.
Absolutely.
Kevon, particularly with you, how does it feel now? How does the music business feel now as opposed to when you guys first started?
It is totally different from everything that we started out. You know, when we got started in this business, we were pretty mature. And so we had an understanding about the business, more so than most artists who are come in at the ages of 18 and 19 and so on and so forth. So maybe we knew a little more than we were supposed to when we started, which was somewhat of a thorn in the side for the label. So we asked too many questions. But we wanted to learn the business. We all were growing at that time. And what we've seen this business change, we've seen it evolve constantly. And it's light years different from what it used to be. But what I can say is while these changes have happened, it has enabled a plethora of artists to find a different way to get their music and their expression out here in a way that they didn't before. It was a time when it was labels. You had to have a label if you were going to get your music out there. That is no longer the case today. There are some young artists that are out here today who aren't thinking about signing with a label. They are social media champions out here, and they're getting paid without, and maybe not even having their music play at radio, because we are in a different time altogether with regards to how social media plays such a huge part and impacts the lives of everything and everyone nowadays.
Yeah, you're right. If you had YouTube, you can be a star. You don't even really need to play an instrument or even know how to sing that good. And you can have some #1 hit records and, right, make a lot of money. So, all right, Danny, you're over there all quiet in the middle. So why do they call you Sky High?
So the name came from a friend of mine who he and I used to gig around town in Boston. And, he was like, you know what? I'm going to call you Sky High from now on. I'm like, I don't understand. He was like, because you always go from 0 to 100. Off stage, you a regular dude. On stage, you just, you turn into somebody else. I was like, okay, all right. I mean, at first, of course, I wasn't, too thrilled about it. But after a while, he just calling me there. I was like, all right, I'll keep it, man.
That works.
So are there acts right now that you look at like, that's what we used to be? Or, I mean, when you think about all the different acts that are out there now, has things changed to the point where you don't look at others and the way you look at yourselves? Or?
Well, that's kind of a hard question.
That's what we do here. We ask hard questions. We ask stupid questions,
the
too, now.
easy
That
ones?
could have been a stupid question.
You should have seen how
So-
Kavan looked at you. He's like, wait, what now?
Well, I think for one thing, people have put something on us of being icons, becoming legends of sorts. And personally speaking, as a group and individually, it's difficult for us to wear that because of the perception of, like, we see Gladys Knight as an icon, as a legend, okay? The Whispers, the Temptations, James Brown. Yes, we've been in the business 32 years, and we've had a lineage of success with the music. Our performances kind of speak for themselves, the amount of energy that we give. But something inside of us, I guess, is still that youthful
Yeah.
kid thing, and being in it, you don't look back at yourself and see the, because they've asked the guy from Sirius Radio, asked me that question, Cameron, what was his name? Yeah, Cayman Kelly.
that's-
And he said, well, Keith, what do you think a legend is? And I said, well, I guess it's, someone who's had consistency at doing something for a long period of time and been rather successful. He says, well, yeah, that's a legend. That's what you are. So again, we accept it, but at the same time, internally, it's hard for us to digest it. And but we know we've been blessed. We've been blessed in a huge way, physically and mentally, even with the loss of Melvin, and how God put the things in place that brought Danny to the group, that continues our success in the music and the perception of people and our fan base. We can continue to grow with it. So we just keep going. And I guess eventually I'll accept the legend and icon aspect of it.
See how he cleaned up that stupid question I asked?
It was-
Clean that? Did he clean
He
that
made it
up or
work.
what?
He made
Did
it
he
work.
clean that up?
But you know
Boy,
what?
I want to
love-
thank you.
Yes. I love how he said that, because I could imagine, though, because you are still young. You are still young. You're very youthful. But what did you say, 32 years this year to be 33 in 2022? That's quite legendary, and that's beautiful. We're so happy that you're continuing to do your thing. However, I do want to ask you, why the 20-year hiatus? Did you guys take a long...
Anyway. Wow. Well, there came a point in time, I think, where we believed as an act we had ran as far as we could run with the label that we were with at the time, Virgin Records. We felt we had done everything that they'd asked for, and I guess for us at the time, we felt like, what else do you need from us? Because we're trying to provide you with everything that you request. And so after we did a greatest hits album, they said, okay, well, you're free to go. And we wanted to leave the label because we thought the grass was greener on the other side, right? And so you do that. But and at the same time, while all of that was happening, it was also taking place that my brother Melvin was feeling very frustrated and burnt out by the business, how business runs in this industry, and it's just never what you think it's going to be. So he just kind of felt like, you know what, it's a timeout for me. And that's really kind of what it was. And for us at that point, we didn't feel like we could or we should go on without Melvin, because it was a very integral part of the sound of After 7. We couldn't imagine doing that. And that's where we were. So everything just got kind of put on pause. It was at that point that I decided to try something solo. So that opened the door for another experience and opportunity for me. But as life would have it, Melvin back in 2015, 2015, I think it was. About 2015, you know, he said, hey, Kenny and I were talking. He said, well, you know, what if we did something new, fresh? And asked Melvin if he would do it. And we were shocked that he said he would do it.
Wow.
I guess we're doing a record. That's what it was. So, and he came back and we recorded a song. And I think the first song that we released off the 2016 release, Timeless, was a song called I Want You. And when we got into the studio and recorded that, you know, Paul Booton, who was our sound engineer and our mix guy, he said, just give me a few minutes. Let me go in here and kind of tighten this thing up and give you some kind of idea of what this is like. Mm-hmm. And so I was myself, Keith, Melvin, my nephew Jason, Daryl Simmons, and of course my brother Face. That's who was always there, right? We went right back after we went back into the listening room, and he played it, and everybody's mouths just dropped. Because we couldn't believe that the sound that we established back in 1989 was still there, and we just couldn't believe it, that our sound was still intact. And so that was what kind of caused us to go ahead and, well, we might as well keep going down this road. Exactly right, which turned into a record, Timeless album, you know, the Timeless record. So.
Well, that's a good segue into, you know, the question that I always ask when we speak of songwriting and why that song and what that song is about. Can you kind of tell us some things about, you know, how things were written, how they were done, what they meant, you know, why one song was chosen over another song?
Wow. The interesting thing about After Seven is that we've never had extra songs. Every song that we've recorded has made the record. That's what we've done. We don't, well, what about an extra song? Got some songs you want to, nope.
Wow.
It's all on the record. So one of the very first songs that I recall when we first got started was Ready or Not.
That's my jam right there.
Okay. So,
oh my goodness.
you know.
Listen, every single time when I'm hosting The Quiet Storm on WHUR, everybody in the DMV knows After Seven is my favorite. They all know every single time I play any one of your songs, I have to say, y'all know, this is my band right here. So to hear you say you don't have any songs that are just sitting around, I mean, that really says a lot about your process. Because most artists, you know, they'll have some songs, some hit, some don't. Every single thing you guys put out, we feel it and we love it. And am I lying?
Thank you. That's the hope. That is our goal. You know, and it started way back in '89 when, you know, we were out in L.A. at the Barham Boulevard. We were corporate housing, and Kenny calls us up on a Sunday morning, and we come up to, he's living in Hollywood Hills, and he just starts playing this song, and you know, he's a little left-handed writer. So don't be mad at me. Anybody writes with a left hand, you know that writing's kind of a little jacked up. Just a,
Aren't you left-handed? I think Tony's left-handed.
don't be mad at me now.
I'm a lefty.
It's okay.
Anyway, he wrote it out on one of these little yellow tablet pieces of paper. I actually had that, and I donated it to the National African American Museum of Music because I wanted them to have that. Because it's our flagship song. And
Which song?
Ready or Not.
Ready or Not.
Yeah, and he wrote it on a little yellow piece of paper, and but it started out him giving us some harmony parts, and I think was that the first song that we recorded?
That was the first song that we recorded, right? That he had put in our hands,
Right. Yeah. So
he gave each one of us our parts, and he sung the melody one time, and then Keith, you sing this. Kevon, Melvin, we sung it together, and
It's magical.
yeah, I mean, he knew our voices,
right.
Yeah.
you know, from back in the gong shows.
That's right.
Those $100 gong shows.
Right.
Don't sleep on the gong shows. You know, it's funny, you talk about your brother, and when people look at you, I'm sure they're like, oh, because you guys look so much alike. But
That's the Edmund. That's the Edmund.
that's that Edmund's look there. But when, you know, the early days of working with your brother, did you feel like you were in the shadow of Babyface, or was that ever an issue?
No, not for me. I mean, long before we came on the set, I was the biggest fan of my brother. So proud of everything that he was doing, because when we grew up, this guy wouldn't talk. He talked to family members, but if cousins or uncles came around or aunts, just very shy. Never had much to say at all. So he's a different guy on stage today, I can tell you that. But back when he had nothing to say. So to see this guy who had a dream, never let go of it, from the time that he was in junior high all the way through high school, music was his vehicle. Music was his voice. Mm-hmm. And so for him to continue to grow, and then all of a sudden it felt like all of a sudden he's out here on the West Coast. He's producing people. He and L.A. are producing. And I couldn't be anything but proud. Of what he accomplished. And then I said, hey, man, look, I will push equipment. You tell me, hey, we got to get out of here. Tell me.
No, that's right. Put me on. Bro.
That's exactly, put me on. Exactly right. And one day he called and said, hey, listen, just make sure you, Keith, and Melvin are together. Make sure you got all your bills paid down or whatever. We got an opportunity we think is coming. And sure enough, probably within another 6 to 8 months, he said, we got you a deal. And I said, we got us a deal? And he said, yeah. So we had a deal with Virgin Records. They'd never seen us. They never heard us. It was simply on the strength of L.A. and Babyface that put us on to Virgin Records. Now, I can't be mad at that.
No, not at all. Bravo.
Yeah, he did the music for American Soul, also did a fabulous job. I mean, I'm still annoyed that BET didn't take it a third year, but we went 2 seasons. But, people seem to like the show, but he did
amazing.
a fantastic job. He and my father knew each other as well, so. We actually live in the same neighborhood, so I see him periodically,
Okay.
And he's quiet,
Yep.
very quiet, so it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I just love everything that you do. Your awards, I mean, you've got all these nominations, you've won awards, Billboard charts, and, they say you're a legend because you are legendary. But in a way, you're kind of just getting back out there. I mean, after the hiatus, you're back and you're back strong. Actually, during the pandemic, I had the opportunity to interview you guys. You were on Pillow Talk and on WHUR Radio. Right. So it's so good.
Pillow Talk. What's Pillow Talk? Does anybody know what Pillow Talk is?
Don't get me started.
This is all access. This is not Pillow Talk.
Well, I always try to work it into the conversation on it.
That's right.
It's nothing wrong with a little pillow talk.
That's right.
But, so now that you're back out there, you're back out performing, how's that feel? I mean, that was a bit of a break. 2 years, everybody was on lockdown, but now you're back out. Has it maybe rejuvenated some of the things that you're doing, or and this is a question for each of you.
Yeah,
how has it affected you?
Go, someone.
It's not a matter of rejuvenating. It's a getting back to the thing that we love the most, which is singing and performing for audiences and sharing our feeling from what we interpret out of the music to the audiences. So it was a great opportunity for us to get back. Jamel Graves, who is running around here, our /choreographer
awesome.
/business manager /agent everything you could think of. He's a phenomenal person, but he's brought back a sense of a purpose for us from the business side, and reopening doors and reestablishing relationships across the country. And so, I mean, if you look at our website, now we're doing a lot of shows in a lot of places, but they're not on a tour. But we're doing as many shows as a lot of artists who are on tours. So that speaks to what he's doing, but on the flip side of that, what he's doing with us on stage. So we've put a lot of time and effort into growing and perfecting the presentation, trying to make a new mark from the performance experience of After 7.
That was my next question.
Wait a minute.
High,
Quiet Danny. He didn't answer. We got to hear from
Quiet
Danny.
How does it feel to work between these two legends right here? I mean, when it comes to, After 7, like, what am I doing here? How do you feel about that?
I mean, believe it or not, sometimes it does hit me in a surreal way. I just kind of, I don't know how to explain it because, wow.
It's interesting. Let me cut in on you. We were doing a show the other night. Angela did something called late last night.
Oh, the dating game. That was
We did
pillow
a dating
talk.
game, right? And one of the questions, I was the actual date.
was
They didn't know it was
amazing.
me. I
So it
was
was like the
so
the
number
dating game.
one. So what do you like to do? And it was that kind of thing.
He was the bachelor.
And so my question is, one of the questions was, why should I pick you?
Yeah.
So my question to you is, do you ever wonder why they chose you?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That's where the wow came through because, I'm but so many singers out here in this world that are doing the same thing I was doing, which was basically putting the pedal to the metal, doing session work, and I was blessed to have met somebody like Mr. Daryl Simmons himself. But Daryl run around. There's so many singers he could choose from himself. You know what I mean? But he referred my name to Kevon and Keith, and for me it's just like, wow, God, okay, I see what you're doing. But I'm gonna still keep on working, keep on staying humble, keep on being focused about the right things, and I can't say that I'm something special about me. I can say that with preparation and prayer, that I got, this is why I got this blessing. It's hard to be stuttering, but it's one of those. It's a well thought out question for a well thought out answer. And
Okay, I got the question right this time. I asked a good question. Okay, come on, give it up, give it up, give it up.
Oh, Tony.
And to answer your question, yes, I was excited about getting out on stage again because it was just kind of like, your hands getting wet. You're like, okay, let's do this because I'm ready to get out here. And, when Kevon and Keith brought the idea of doing the album, I was like, okay, this is a perfect situation. Nobody's going to see it coming because it's during the pandemic, and, we managed to make it work, what was it, 35 days total of recording? And, by the end of the year, we had done the photo shoot and everything. And in my mind, I'm still like, wow, because, this is how fast the big leagues do it. And, by January came, there was like, it's go time. I'm like, yes, sir. So I was... You don't understand. I was losing weight. I was in the gym. I was trying to get it right. You only get one shot.
You get one shot.
You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this for all the singers that's looking for the opportunity like this. You dig what I mean? So,
Oh, I love it.
yeah.
I
Well,
love
this
it.
could be a great time for you to pull that album out since you
Oh,
mentioned
yeah,
it. So
you know
come-
what?
I said I wanted to do it. And you said, no, let me do it. Let me
did
do it.
say that.
So
This is their latest. I know you all have it. Okay, good. You don't have it. I believe, is it in the store?
It is
Here on the
Unfinished
ship?
Business.
Unfinished business. So go to the store. As soon as you leave here, pick up your after.
And how did that
Unfinished
title,
Business.
Unfinished Business, come along?
It came about because we felt like that was our story, that after being gone for 20 years, we came back and we were fortunate enough to have Melvin join us on the Timeless Project. But, speaking about how Danny came into play, and Daryl Simmons had told me about this guy, and I said, okay, well, let me look him over, and I saw some video footage of him. I saw how he moved, I saw how he sang, and I even vetted it with Melvin. Melvin said, this brother can go. Okay, so in that regard, I kind of I missed something. What? But that being said, bringing Danny into the fold, we felt like there was still more of a story to be told with After Seven, that we were not finished. There was still business in our eyes in terms of what we had to share musically with our fans, those who knew us, and for those who didn't, there's still a story here to be told.
Yeah, there is a story. I didn't realize Jamel was also your choreographer.
Oh, yes.
Because the dance steps, I'm here for all of it. So the last time I saw you in concert, I think it was last year, and you were in the DMV.
Right.
And the ladies, I just have to say, the ladies go bananas. And, so how much did looks have to do with you choosing your next person? Because the three of you look great and you sound great, but what if it was somebody who sounded really great, but they just didn't
Honestly,
look that good?
that was that man upstairs.
Yeah.
We honestly can't take credit for that.
And we
Daryl.
didn't have no chocolate, though, either.
Yeah, we didn't have no. Well,
Uh-oh.
Gotta have the chocolate.
Melvin was chocolate.
Uh-oh.
Have
He was as chocolate as it can get.
yeah, that was brown skin. That was brown skin.
Yeah, he was
This-
brown.
This is sexy chocolate.
We didn't
right
have
here.
chocolate. See what I'm saying?
Sexy chocolate.
About to
Just
maybe
to round
turn
this
purple up
thing
here.
out.
But honestly, it was God who intervened. I mean, Danny's hard work over his career, he didn't speak about the fact that he went to Berklee School of Music. So he has a phenomenal ear. So he's not coming to the table unprepared and unequipped. But it was common sense once we heard the tapes. And of course, he spent 2.5 months with me rehearsing choreography. So it was easy for me to see he had the skill set. But yes, the specimen works.
It's all worth
Yeah,
it.
It's all working.
The three of you on stage, I mean, come on.
I'd also like to add with Danny is which you can find artists or musicians, if you will, who sing, who have wonderful voices, who move extremely well, can do all those things. But I tell you what, you have to have an individual that has the right attitude.
Yeah.
That changes the game. And I've dealt with different people different times as we've evolved and changed and so on and so forth. But this young man has the right attitude, has the talent, the desire, the humility. He has all those things balled up in one. So he was a fine.
That's beautiful.
Now, on the album, what's one of your favorite songs on here? And the song that you guys have chosen to release.
Like, wait a minute, what?
Um,
What's on there?
What if you had to tell the audience what's your favorite song on the album?
Tony with the hard questions again.
Here you go.
Hey, that's me, right?
Well, I for me, everybody's got something different. Take a look at what you want, but I would pick "Made a Man of Me." Made a man of me.
Okay. But tell everybody why.
'Cause girl, your love has made a man of me.
Ooh. I think they're going
Okay,
right to the
next person with the song that they like on the album.
That's a double-edged sword. See, here's the thing. I like them all for different reasons. So make sure you go get the album. No, but seriously.
I see what you did there, Danny.
So with a pillow talk. But what do you call it? I would have to,
He meant that.
yeah. Another good question. I mean, all right, so look, Who's Been Loving You was one, but All I Want Is You was another one. And I remember we was going back and forth about that, like, which one is your favorite and whatnot. But yeah, Who's Been Loving You, All I Want Is You, and I would have to go with Tomorrow Can Wait.
Okay.
Well, I think the strongest song on the album is No Place Like You, which is the current single
I like it.
off of the album Unfinished Business. And it just speaks to the heart, for women about a man who thinks he's got everything, been every place, searching for that sense of home and sense of love. But he finds out it's not his house, it's not his car, it's not some fancy place around the world. It's at home. Home is where that woman is, where
Say
that person,
that.
that person
Yeah.
that brings love and tranquility to your life. No place like you is home. So
He cleaned up. He cleaned up my question again, didn't he? He knocked it out the park again.
I'm gonna
That's
I'm gonna
fantastic.
be needing
guys.
that back.
That's
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Hey,
You know,
they talk me into it. I can't wait.
I love it. And
I
you know
can't
what?
wait.
We have not been doing the audience participation, and I'm glad you said something from the audience. Are there any questions that you guys have? Speak loud and proud.
The question was, how do they feel about the Jay-Z's of the world, those that are coming up, those that are here and doing really well? How do they feel about that?
It's an open market. I mean, you're free to pursue whatever your musical expression is. I mean, of course, money answers many things. And if you got that, you can make a whole lot of things happen. So I can't be mad at those folks who are able to create and have the funding to do what it is that they choose to do. If I had more money, I'd do more things. But that's kind of how it operates. I don't know.
Well, I'm not mad at what the industry has turned into because these younger kids from the hip hop era on, they had a totally different approach to success in music. They weren't looking at becoming a star on stage. They were looking at branding. They took it to the corporate level. They took music to another place, and they were entree to publishing. The things in the business that created, wealth. So I can't be mad at that. But how it has affected us is because R&B music has been slivered down to a small segment. The style of music that we do is affected by the success of the youth, but we found a way to continue to be able to be relevant in a forest full of giants of young artists. But we've managed not to follow anyone, to continue to do what we do. But we dibbled and dabbled with the song Bittersweet. If you take the time to listen to Unfinished Business, that was a challenge for us because we came out with a track that is what the kids are doing. But we didn't typically do it for that purpose. The young people that wrote that song had the musicality, had the lyrical content, had the melody content that touched us. Collectively, they gave us 5 songs to listen to, and out of those 5 songs, Bittersweet hit that message, and it rang home with us, and we said, hey, let's do that one. But we knew that song because of the track and the message could work for After 7, even though it felt different. It don't feel like After 7, but it still was us, and we could still swing hooks. So it worked. But I'm not mad, like I say, at the youthfulness of how the music has changed because it opened doors for opportunities for others, and they're busting the doors down. So we just been blessed that we've been able to survive in that after sitting out for 20 years and to be able to come back with 5 top 10 singles off of Timeless, and we're heading toward another top 10 single off of Unfinished Business. So
That was a good
blessed.
question, sir.
So
Excellent
Angela, why
question.
couldn't you ask a great question like that? Why didn't
I
you ask-
asked. See how
we
he
got
turns
somebody
on
in the
me.
audience. Somebody in the audience.
See how he
asked a great
turns on
question.
me.
I mean, he didn't ask a better
After
question
he
than I
asked
asked, but
a
I mean,
couple questionable questions, but it all worked out. The beautiful lady in the white mask.
I was wondering, how did you come up with the name After 7? I have my thoughts, but I like to know, how did you?
It's another good question.
How did you come up with the name
After
After
7?
Well, we didn't actually. That guy Babyface. Anyway, we were undecided about, it happened all so quickly that we were signed to a label. Boom. What's the name of the group? Right?
I miss it.
Yes, exactly. But so it was something like someone had left a message for him, back when you had an answering service machine. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So someone left a message and said, blah, 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 get back with me after 7. And so he presented that to us. What do you think? And we, we didn't think anything of it. I said, well, it sounds like it could work. And so we likened it to like, after 5, after 6, formal, semi-formal and formal. But we felt like it was kind of a casual, elegant time of the evening.
that.
And that's what we applied.
Music
For grown folks.
See, now she wants to take credit for it, right? She wants to take. See, that's what happens when you throw it out to
Well,
the
you
audience.
know what, though? She does get credit for asking a really good question. Because, I mean, who knew that? Did anyone know that? See? So thank you for that. Anyone
more
else with
question,
a
Ethan?
really good question?
Thank you.
I saw you guys in Indianapolis a few years ago at the Black Expo, and Jason was performing with you. I just want to know, where is he? What is he doing now? 'Cause he was excellent too. He was good.
She's speaking about my nephew, Jason, Melvin's son. Yeah, yes. We love him too. He's very talented. He's out in L.A. right now. You know, he's got other business opportunities that he's pursuing. He's got a brand new, beautiful, great niece that he has, and now he's bitten. Okay, he's done. That's what I can tell you. He's in love, and so all is well in the world. Trust me.
Oh, that's so good to hear. You know what? I know you've got more questions, and we can talk to them all night long, but we're getting the signal that
Yeah, we need
it's
to wrap
time
this
to
up.
go.
Even though it's fine that you guys have more questions, but we got to go.
And you'll have an opportunity to come up and talk to them as soon as we close this out. So,
Absolutely.
so
Well, ladies and gentlemen.
after 7.
Thank you all.